Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
Taylor Swift is a link builder. There were rumors that she would get engaged. Our client said, let's give them a free wedding venue. And then we got them 50 links. That's digital PR.
Managing multiple clients or large websites? Automate your SEO with Ali AI. Start your free trial now.
Good morning. And thank you for being here today with me. As Andy said, I'm quite nervous because it's my first presentation, but I'm hoping you'll enjoy it. Firstly, I want to ask you all, do you know who this guy is? Please raise your hands if you do. Okay. I see that we have some Dune fans in this room, and I'm glad. For those of you who haven't raised their hands, you have to know his name is Paul Atreides, and he is the main character of Dune, a novel written in 1965 by Frank Herbert, and he was also a mentad. A mentad was a person who was able to take into account data and historical facts and foresee short-term and long-term results. He was usually hired by the high classes in Dune. And you might be wondering, why am I talking about this today? Well, besides the fact that Dune is my favorite book, I'm hoping that we can all become today SEO mentads and that we can all forecast our SEO results. I've also created a model that I'm going to share with you later on. But before that, I would like to tell you why I've decided in the first place to talk about forecasting and why it's important. Now, I'm sure that many of you here are SEO specialists or agency owners. And you've probably been asked in the past by some persons, if I invest in SEO, how will my traffic will increase? Or if I invest in SEO, how will my revenue will increase? And how do you usually answer to that question? Please say it out loud and be honest. It depends. Exactly. It depends. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been in this business for almost 15 years now, and I'm quite sick and tired of giving the same answer when people are asking me numbers. So that's why forecasting is quite important, and I realized that only in the recent years. Usually the people who are asking us those questions are also people that we should create connections to and that are quite important in our activity. And before me showing to you who they really are, I would like to tell you that if any association with any of these characters is pure fictional, so don't take it personally. I call them forecasting hunters. And firstly, we have the stakeholders, right? I'm sure you've met them before, aka Baron Harkonnen. For those of you who don't know, Baron Harkonnen was the one in the book who was controlling the universal currency. His only mission is to increase its profits, so he is quite interested in knowing exactly how will the traffic increase and but moreover, how will the revenue increase. Next, we have the CFOs, aka the Baron Mentad. You probably met them also. Their only mission is to ensure that they are maximizing the profits. They are usually the right hand of the main stakeholders, or someone who is also important in the company. And lastly, we have the CMOs, the person who you usually interact with mostly, because they are usually the ones that hire the SEO specialist or the SEO agency. Now, besides these three persons, who else do you think forecasting should be important to? Say it out loud. To you. Forecasting should be super important if you are doing SEO. It allows you to predict traffic, it allows you to predict revenue, it also allows you to predict the rankings. All of this help you to know how the website visibility will increase. It will also help you to predict organic traffic and at the same time to identify any potential issues and adjust if it's the case. Okay, but in order for all of this to be possible, we need data, right? The good news is that we are living in a data-driven world, right? I mean, we have data everywhere. We have the Google tools, Google Search Console, and Google Analytics, and we also have some third-party tools like HubSpot, where we can see all sorts of interesting metrics for our website, like users, sessions, clicks, revenue, average order value. All of these are important metrics and can also be used for a forecast. Now, I'm sure that some of you before coming here, you were wondering, okay, forecasting, but no one can really do a forecast that can be 100% accurate. And that's true, indeed. No one can do a forecast that can be 100% accurate. And let's just think about it only the events that we've lived in the last 4 or 5 years. We had a pandemic. We are now living 2 wars. We can say that, right? At the same time, we had an energy crisis. It's impossible for anyone in this room to have foreseen all these events. And at the same time, and these are only the macroeconomic events that we are facing and that we don't have control over. But if we are looking at the micro level, we have the famous Google updates, right? I'm sure you are enjoying them. We have the user behavior changing all the time, and it's normal to change, right? We have the AI now. We know that the user is starting to use more and more, to enjoy more and more video content. So we need to pivotate our strategies to include also in this, to include also optimizing videos in our SEO strategies. And lastly, we have the competition. And I always like to say this to my clients. SEO, it's like a marathon. Everyone is running. Just because you stop running, it doesn't mean that your competition is gonna do the same. Also, you don't have any control on how they are investing the budget, how big is their budget, or what their SEO strategy will be. Cool, now that we've settled the scene, how do we actually create an SEO forecast? Now, I've tried to think about a model that can be easily used by anybody, because I myself am an SEO specialist, and I've been facing the fears of using the spreadsheets, the fears of not being 100% accurate. So I've tried to come up with something that's easy, and also that's easy to present to the forecasting hunters that we were talking about earlier. My model is split between 2 sections: a do-nothing model that follows the natural path of the website, and a model that includes SEO. So basically, how the traffic and revenue will evolve with an SEO investment. Now, in order for you to use this model, which I will be sharing with you at the end of this presentation, you'll need historical data. You'll need historical traffic data and historical revenue data. I know that we have GA4, not for so long time, so you'll need data for at least a year, historical data for a year in order to use this forecast. But the more you'll use it and the more the time will pass, I recommend you to use more and more data from 2 or 3 years, because it will also contribute to the accuracy of your forecast. So, having the traffic data and the historical revenue data, I recommend you to use the forecasting formula for the do nothing model. And here you have a screenshot from the model, where it predicts how the website will evolve for the next 12 months, starting from now on. For those of you who are doing forecasts for websites that have high seasonality, like for example in August, the website's traffic drops quite high, my recommendation is to do an average between, let's say, for example, July, August, and September, if we are talking about August. Now, for the SEO model, so we have the do-nothing model, we know how the website will evolve without SEO. For the SEO model, basically, to highlight how the website traffic will evolve considering SEO, I recommend you to use strict traffic forecasting tool by domain. strict tool has quite a nice feature called traffic forecasting. You can do a forecast by static ranking. You can do a forecast by dynamic ranking. If for example, you have a percentage of increase like 10% of 20%, or you can do a forecast by domain, where the tool basically takes out using the keyword research, which by the way, you have to do it first. Having the keyword research, calculating the monthly and the annual traffic, it also takes into consideration if you are entering the domain, the current rankings, and it makes forecast on the future rankings. Now, having the traffic estimation, which, as I said, you can use to strict, or if you don't want to pay, you can do it the old way. You can just simply have the keyword research, have the volume, use the CTR, the average CTR for the industry that you are forecasting, and calculate the annual traffic. So once you have the annual traffic, I recommend you to split it between the next 4 months. But because in the first 3 months, as we know, there isn't much happening because we are focusing on the technical SEO or on doing all sorts of analysis and we don't have the chance to implement some of the recommendations in the first month or 2 months, so it's a slow process. I recommend you for the first 3 months after you are starting the campaign to multiply the annual traffic by 0.3 in the first month, so a small increase, 0.6 for the second month, and 0.8 for the third month. And this way you will ensure that you're not going so high with your prediction. At the same time, the rest of the traffic, I recommend you to split it between the remaining 9 months. And this way you'll ensure that you have distributed the traffic accordingly to the progress of an SEO strategy. Trust me, once you'll use the model, it will be quite simple. It's more difficult to explain it than to actually using it. You'll just have to copy-paste the data in it. Besides having this forecasting tool by months, I've also included a small table that highlights the traffic increase and the revenue increase, which you can see, and the numbers are quite hypothetical. By the way, I've chosen Twinings in the 6 weeks forecasting because I know that it's one of the most popular tea brands from the UK, but this is not their actual revenue. Okay? Those are not data that I could share with you. But for a campaign like this, and for I would say that with an SEO investment of approximately 100K per year, I would say that this traffic increase is quite good, 5 million, right? I think this main stakeholder will be satisfied. Don't you think? Okay. You can download the model scanning this QR code, and I'm going to give you a few seconds to scan it. And you can also send me an email if you want to, and I can send it to you. Now, before me leaving this scene, which is quite huge, and as I said, I thank you all for being here today with me. I have to say that I'm sure that in this room there are many, many SEO specialists that, just like me, have been struggling to highlight the value of their work, and I know how it is. We are investing so much time into creating brilliant SEO strategies. We are investing so much time into doing the technical stuff and all the other stuff that the stakeholder, the CFO, or the other people usually don't care. Now, I know that I might hurt your ego, but let's be honest. So that's why I think we should do this forecasting, and I highly recommend you to use this model or any other model if you want to. Just do it. Play around with them, work with them for several businesses, and you'll see that, and I promise actually to you that once you start using them, things will become better, and you will become even more comfortable on using them. I mean, come on, look at me. I'm a woman with pink shoes. I managed to do it, so I'm sure that you're all gonna do it. But at the same time, as Paul was a good mentat, and those of you who read the book know it, and those who haven't read the book, I highly recommend you to do it. Paul was also aware that there are some events that he could not foresee. So when doing the forecast, please bear in mind that this is an instrument. Use it like a way, use it to know where you are heading to. Don't use it as a GPS, use it as a compass. Thank you for being here today with me.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.